I want you to hear this fool Mark Toner, the latest spokesidiot over there at the State Department. Remember I mentioned to you the other day that this push going on in the European Union to force one country's companies, and only one country's companies, to label their products that they are from Israeli companies. Now, if that's not Jew-hating, I don't know what is. Israel is an ally. All they seek to do is exist. That's it. They don't want to conquer anybody. They're not interested in the Crusades. They're not interested in a caliphate. They just want to be left alone. Well, that's just a bridge too far for this administration, which I've told you before, and I'll repeat again, is an anti-Semitic administration. In addition to being an anti-American administration. What did he say? I said what I meant. So here's Mark Toner, the latest spokesidiot at the Department of State, and the terrific AP reporter Matt Lee is on him. What about this EU labeling of Israeli products? What's the position of the United States of America? Cut 11, hat tip Washington Free Beacon, go.
I'm trying to find out if the administration has a position on the labeling. Do you think that it is the same thing as a boycott, which you would oppose?
So current consumer guidelines on product origin labeling is what we're talking about, the EU doing. Issue still under discussion, but as I just said to Arshad, it's not a boycott per se, but could be taken as a boycott since it identifies.
So you oppose it?
We oppose boycotts.
No, but I'm asking about the labeling.
We oppose any, I would say, any action that could be taken. Again, action has not been taken yet, but we oppose any boycott against Israel. I just said that very clearly.
I know you said that, but you won't say whether you regard the labeling as a boycott.
We don't have, it is not a done deal yet. So it's
also not a done deal that, you don't want China to nuke Mongolia either, but you'll say that. I mean,
no, we don't.
No, exactly. But that's a hypothetical as well. It's something that has
the EU's debate. You should tell them what your opinion is.
Have you been in touch with?
Of course, we've been discussing this with the EU.
So, and you've told them you think it's a bad idea, or you've told them, well, we don't really care, but but we would prefer that you not take it to a boycott.
We've been clear about our position.
Well, you haven't been clear with me. Does anyone else in this room understand what the position is on the labeling?
Our position, which is that we consider boycotts to be.
I know that's boycotts. Do you consider the labeling to be a boycott?
I would say that.
Or if it's a step on the way to a boycott,
it could be perceived as a step on the way.
So do you oppose it?
It's a step on the way
to a boycott.
So do you oppose it? And are you willing to tell the Europeans that you think this is a bad idea and that you...
And I'll just leave it at, we're still discussing it with them. They're aware of our views.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this administration is anti-Semitic, you need to trust me on this. I know I'm the point of the spear. I'm always the point of the spear. I get it. I get attacked for this. I don't much care. The fact of the matter is, the spokesman for the Department of State, which is the department that leads our foreign policy in this nation, at the direction of John Kerry, who takes his direction from Barack Obama, will not state without equivocation that the position of the United States is that it rejects the EU effort that is underway to compel one country and one country only to label its products as being from that country, from Israel. The fact that our government is studying it tells you everything you need to know. It's an embarrassment. It's a disgrace. And yet, I say this with a heavy heart, as a person who is Jewish. And yet, there are left-wing, wealthy Jewish people in this country that will continue to support this diabolical party, continue to speak up for Barack Obama, and who view me as a hater. Cut 12, go.
That said, if Israel continues to expand settlement activity, it shouldn't come as a surprise if some in the international community pursue steps to limit commercial relations with the settlements.
Oh, now listen to that. That's an affirmative statement in support not only of these labeling effort, but boycotting, because it's Israel's fault. Because the Israeli people, do you realize the Israelis who live in these areas are told they can't even put additions on their homes? It's their land, it's their home, it's their property. They can't even put additions on these homes. They can't even upgrade them. They can't even update them. And the reason is because Europe and this administration want them to use this land as a negotiating point with the Palestinians, who obviously seek peace, as they're stabbing the Israeli citizens. So now this fool says, well, look, of course, labeling, boycotting, whatever, the problem is the Israelis. The Israelis, they want to expand their settlements. Absolutely incredible. Go ahead.
For the urgent need for Israel to change its policies with regard to settlements.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The issue is Israel. When the Israeli citizens are being stabbed, innocent people haven't done anything, stabbed to death, maimed, it's Israel's fault for not surrendering its security. When the European Union owned lock, stock, and barrel by the oil-producing countries in the Middle East, and scared as hell as a result of the influx of Muslims into these countries, when the European Union takes the position that one country and only one country will have to label its goods because it's a backdoor boycott to shut down that country, it's Israel's fault. This is what I mean. This is a sick SOB over there at the State Department. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm still struggling to find a coherent position on whether the labeling is a good thing or a bad thing, according to you guys.
So we're not going to speak to something that has not taken place yet, a decision that has not been made, and that's what was my point about this is still a matter under discussion in the European Commission. On boycotts, we're against boycotts. On settlements, we're against settlements.
Hold on now. Whoa. You're against settlements? All settlements? Really? You're against settlements? That's incredible. Go ahead.
And my last point is the but, that Israel that it shouldn't be a surprise to Israel that some of the international community pursue steps to limit commercial relations with the settlements.
And this really shouldn't be a surprise to any of us, how this administration conducts itself and what it believes. So you heard him, how he's dancing around, how he's tap dancing. It would have been very easy to say we oppose boycotts and we oppose this labeling, period. But he didn't say that. It's Israel's fault, it's Israel's fault, and don't be surprised because it's Israel's fault. These people are disgusting. It's the hate America crowd. They hate our allies crowd. Meanwhile, let's open our doors to Cuba. Let's open our doors to a police state, a genocidal police state, a drug-running state, a state that has murdered its own citizens. Let's open our doors to the Castros. Obama can't wait to meet the Castros. Let's open a few Taco Bells you see in Cuba, so say some of the idiot Republicans, and that'll change everything. Few Taco Bells, show them what capitalism's all about, as if the Castro boys won't be controlling all the money that goes into Cuba. So embrace the Castros, hate Israel. I wonder, will the European Union be requiring Cuba to mark its goods under the Castros? No, the answer is because Cuba doesn't make any goods other than cigars under the paradise that's being created by the Marxist lowlifes called the Castro brothers. Tell me, will China have to mark any of its goods that go into the European Union, given its policies, its genocidal policies, given its military aggression, given its cyber wars against the United States? No? Oh, no, really? Oh, okay. I got it now, but not really. I'll be right back.